speaking of changes with partnerships,
yes,
I feel like we've been. Did you notice the defensive coordinator changes that were probably?
God, yes.
Yeah.
And I love, by the way, I would like to give a congratulations to the entire Eagles fan base because it seems like everyone went, well, we missed the Shane Steichen news somehow last year, and we're not missing shit this year. And right away, as soon as Jonathan Gannon perked his ears up during his press conference this week and said that Dennard Wilson is my right-hand guy or whatever it is, we're like, oh, that's the guy. There he is. That's the next defensive coordinator. So there you go. And by the way, may I say, Vince Quinn, take a fucking bow.
Thank you, John.
Come on.
Thank you. Thank you.
The 100 people audience we paid to come in here today. Like, you nailed this thing. We mentioned it previewing training camp coming into this. We've had a few days now. They are way walking down 3-4 Avenue. Jordan Davis looks amazing, and we've got a new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, it's
4 days. We figured out a lot. This is great.
We have figured out a lot, and there's one thing I really want to figure out, and I'll probably get mad at you for it, but we're going to figure it out. But yeah, thinking about the whole Dennard Wilson thing too, because think about this, right? The Eagles decide this whole offseason they've got all this goddamn time, especially after the draft to now. They had a lot of time. They've, on the day that everything's getting started, all right, let's announce all these additional changes and promotions.
Yeah.
And so one of them that they announced was, yes, Dennard Wilson becomes your passing game coordinator. So if Jonathan Gannon is going to be getting promoted and going somewhere else, well, now Dennard Wilson's your guy. So here's one thing I decided to do, John, because I asked myself the question once he got that promotion and the clear nod that he could be the next guy. I was like, who the fuck's Dennard Wilson? Like, I just didn't know. I knew he existed, but he
cornerback, Washington. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
safety,
and that's it.
I think.
He was a corner for like a practice squad. You know, like he didn't even do anything back in 2004. So you're like, oh my God, this guy just hasn't, like, who is he and what has he done? You know, who's your daddy and what does he do? So I was looking into it a little bit, and like for people who are looking for the spark notes of this, he's with the Rams for a couple of years. That is the Greg Williams, Jeff Fisher era. My goodness, baby. Some good times there. And then
God bless him.
Went over to the Jets and spent some time. The claim to fame now for Dennard Wilson, by the way, potential future coordinator for the Eagles here, is he made Jamal Adams an all-pro player.
I knew that was coming.
That's the claim. Like, it's on his Wikipedia. It's in a couple of articles I read about him. Like, it's all over the place. So, like, guys, no, you won't believe it. He made Jamal Adams, this guy that's a complete failure in Seattle that they traded all these picks for. He made him the guy.
Listen, if he's the hoodwink of safeties like Andy Reid was the hoodwink of quarterbacks, I'm in. That's already positive for me. So,
imagine what he could have done with Kyle Hamilton. But
we'll talk about Kyle Hamilton. We're going to talk about that some bitch.
Yeah, I got tagged a million times for that one. Thank you. So yeah, like he did all that stuff. He survived like in when the Jets, Todd Bowles got fired at that one point, and then Adam Gase took over. He stayed in that transition because Greg Williams was there.
Sorry. No wonder we haven't heard of him.
So yeah, I mean, it's like it's not this illustrious, oh my God kind of career. Like maybe the Jamal Adams thing is something, maybe it isn't. So I have no idea if he's any good, but they kind of slipped that under the radar at the start of training camp, and I thought it was important. But even more important, John, because this did get a little bit of attention, but I don't think it's really gotten enough.
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick dropping into coverage is like...
it's getting attention.
Yeah, that's a crime. That is an absolute crime.
It's not a crime, and I'm going to tell you why, but I do have one more point on our friend Dennard Wilson.
Sure.
As such as, we know this, as Shane Steichen is the right-hand man to Nick Sirianni, and what happened last year? He literally stopped calling the plays and handed it over to Shane. So let me just jog your memory here, Vince. You tell me if I'm on the right path. Okay. I think Dennard Wilson's already calling plays. Has to be. Because if both sides of the ball were kind of a mess in terms of like execution, right? So Nick is going, okay, I'm not good yet at the execution of this. I can plan. That's basically what we were sold with what JG is in the first place. So he went from being upstairs in the booth, I think, to begin the beginning of the year, to then downstairs and huddled with everybody else, to then being on the opposite 20 of where the offense was at from the opposing offense, and viewing it that way. He did not look like a guy that's constantly in his mic calling the plays. And if you go back from those weeks when they started running the football and getting things in place, he was not calling plays. In fact, all of that communication between Nick Sirianni, I believe, and who the hell do you think he's talking to when he says it's always fucking him when he's talking about Derek Barnett going offside? He's not talking to the D-line coach. He's not talking to the guy that's executing plays. He's talking to Jonathan Gannon. Who was it? Who went offsides, John? It was Derek Barnett. It's always fucking him. I can just see that happening. There is no way Jonathan Gannon has been calling plays since week 7 of last season, and Wilson is also calling plays going into this season. There's no doubt about it. Bookmark this day, because I think that's what we also discovered too. There's no way that they're not doing both.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. And when you think about the Sirianni-Gannon relationship, yes, these are guys that very much believe in each other, have similar approaches to all this stuff. And if Sirianni, who took Gannon along for this ride, goes, yeah, man, I'm a head coach and managing all this stuff, it's different, it's harder. And Gannon's like, yeah, I want to do that. Well, I'm not going to be calling defensive plays if I'm the head coach. Maybe he's not.
Exactly.
Why does he have to be that guy? You know?
And he shouldn't, especially knowing that we think he's going to be a head coach next year and be like, well, that answered my question. Well, who the hell you're handing it off to? He already did. He probably already did.
Yeah, he probably did. So
they thought he was going to get the job. So, yes, of course they needed a signal caller ready to go. And, in fact, I believe Mike Caven pointed it out last offseason, going, it would be somebody internal. They wouldn't go out while you were, like, frothing over Vic Fangio and Russell Wilson and so let's not remember that offseason, shall we?
Yeah, I'm happy to forget it, too.
Is that what Vic Fangio sounds like?
When he eats a can of beans, yes.
He sounds like an old motorboat. And he was at Eagles practice, by the way. So yeah, that was funny. Alternate realities. But yeah, so with all that then.
Yes. Let's get to the creme de la creme here.
Yeah, because Hassan Reddick dropping
Kyle
into coverage is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
He is the creme de la creme, and I don't care.
Kyle Hamilton, let me just say that real quick. Kyle Hamilton getting lit up by a dude who retired from the NFL and was in the USFL. Like, and every Ravens fan one Ravens fan got into my mentions was, of course, like, oh, you think Kyle Hamilton's here to play press coverage? Yes, sometimes. You're going to be asked to do that against tight ends, but certainly not little slot fast guys, apparently.
Okay, and it's also it's training camp, and it's early in training camp, and I'm not. I see the tweets, people. I'm honored that you think of me. Honestly, it's a compliment. I appreciate it. Send me all the Kyle Hamilton hate. I can take it. Guy's a phenomenal player. I'm not backing down on it.
Kyle Hamilton cooked. Being trending on Twitter is just amazing. Yes. Like those 3 words specifically together.
Yeah. And he took it in stride. He even tweeted and was like, I'm getting roasted on this app right now. So he gets it. I'm not worried about
Unlike
that guy.
Jalen Reagor and Miles Sanders, so you can learn a lesson there, fellas.